welcome back to our channel. My name is Julianna Rodriguez, and I am a peer mentor for the Access College and Excel program here at UTSA. Our intentions for this podcast is to interview current and former students, as well as faculty and staff, about everything that is happening with them and around them. Today, I had the opportunity to interview Cynthia Lopez, who is a former student at UTSA that graduated in the fall of 2020. She was also a part of the 2016 ACE cohort. I hope all of you enjoyed this episode, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below to our channel. Please welcome Cynthia Lopez. Well, hello, Cynthia. Thank you for joining us for Conversations with ACE. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. I know this is an honor because you're a former student and you are in the SAPD Academy. So we get to kind of get a little insight of what your career goals were and how they're going and what you plan to do in the future. But first off, let's just kind of get into how you're doing since you've been graduated, and also how did it feel to graduate in the middle of a pandemic? It switched so fast, and being first generation, like, how did that feel? How did that go?
So I graduated in May 2020, right when the pandemic was at the highest peak. I remember when after spring break, it was so sad because one of my professors, he's still UTSA, his name is Professor Henry Mead. He told us, we'll see you after spring break, you guys, for exam. We never came back from spring break. And that was like the longest spring break I ever had in my life. When we received the email, I believe it was in March or April, when they said all commencement for all UT schools, especially UTSA, were canceled. I started bawling my eyes out. I called my mom, I was crying because as a first generation student, that's the goal for your parents to see you cross the stage, that all their sacrifice did pay off. So I was sad. It took me almost 3 months to get over it. And I was definitely crying, but Malia, my mom's friends mentioned to me, it's like, it doesn't matter if the pandemic ruined it for you, but you still managed to get that degree in 4 years. That's what matters, a degree. So that's how it was my experience.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think for me as well, like, since I graduate this semester and being a first generation student, and a lot of, the crowd out there that is watching right now are going to be first generation students. It's hard to kind of transition into not being able to walk that stage, because I know for myself, like, as a freshman, my goal and my motivation was always like, I want to see myself cross that stage. And I would always tell myself, like, I'm going to cross that stage. And now it's not a reality, and so it's kind of, sad, but in a way, like you said, and I really like the advice that you said, that no matter what happens, no matter how you graduate, nobody's going to take that diploma away from you that you deserve, right?
Yeah, it's like, it's right here. I have it right here in the living room. So when someone comes by, I'm like, did you see the degree that's right there?
Yes, no, definitely. So that's awesome. I'm glad that you're doing good. And I mean, that was all, settled down. But how have you been since you graduated? How are things going? What are you doing? What are you doing in that?
So far, graduating in May 2020, I was originally supposed to be starting with the San Antonio Police Academy in August of 2020, but due to the corporation and was down, my exams were taking long. My whole process took 6 months, and like I mentioned, I was supposed to start in September, and if that were to happen, I would have been graduating next month already. But due to COVID, we can't stop things. But so far, after graduating, right now I'm in the San Antonio Police Academy for the 2021 class. I have just started, so we have training, and it's something not that we're used to, especially me. I'm not used to like having my hair in a bun like this. Because, I'm a girl who always has their hair long, so being like not cutting it, I was like, no, I'm not gonna cut it. I'm sorry, I'll work through it, but I'm not gonna cut it. So that's what they've been doing so far. And then just at the police academy, it's 7 months. And this is the week. So it's almost a little bit less than the first day. So yeah, that's what I've been doing so far since I graduated.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're doing good. I'm glad you're starting on your career. Was that like your original career goal? Like, did you want to become a police officer, or did you kind of like switch, or how did you come to being in the SAPD Academy?
So when I graduated from high school, my plan was always going to UTSA for my criminal justice degree because I knew that was going to help me in the long run in advancing an SAPD in the positions. So,
Mhm.
for example, when I told them I wanted to be a detective, that's my plan since I started UTSA, and they said you have to be a police officer for 5 years, and that's when you apply to be the detective because they want you to be familiar with the streets, with each side of town, such as West Side, the South Side, and North Side, and so on, so go forth. And they say you have to be in training because we can't just hand you the badge. You have to earn it. So that's what we've been doing. And yeah, detective is my position where I want to be. And SAPD, as the SAPD officer, I'll be having my master's degree paid for. So that's something I do want to look forward to because once you get a master's, you can go up, such as sergeant, lieutenant, and eventually almost going to FBI, which is my ultimate goal. And because as being in the FBI San Antonio, you have to be 28 years old. I'm 22, almost there. You have to be 28, and then you have to have your master's degree and experience in law enforcement. So that's what's making me be with SAPD, so I can be a detective and then escalate my way up to the FBI.
Wow, that's awesome, Cynthia. That's like a dream come true. I've been, kind of watching Criminal Minds now because that's like my
Yeah.
best friend during this whole thing. And so being, seeing yourself in something sort of like similar to that, I know there's like different departments in the FBI or whatever you can, there's like it branches out many, many ways. But that's awesome. That is really awesome. And I'm glad that you're pursuing your goals and that you're getting there. You're like, you're one fourth or one third of a way there almost. So that's awesome, Cynthia. Good job. And, congratulations for making it even into the SAPD
Mhm.
Academy. I'm pretty sure that was a whole nother story that you can talk about.
That's
uh,
awesome.
but that's awesome. But I want to go more into like what inspired you to be a police officer or an FBI person. I don't know what they're called, detective or agent. Like being
You're there. It's almost like that. You're there. You're there.
what inspired you? Was it someone in your family? Was it a TV show like I mentioned, Criminal Minds, or what was it? What was it that really made you want to pursue that?
Yeah, so what inspired me is my grandpa. He was the chief of police in Piedras Negras. He was chief of police for almost 35 years. And when I was 11 or 10 years old, I remember going up to each of my family members. They can attest to this story that I would get a flashlight and go up to their faces, like with the flashlight, tell me the truth. I know you're lying. What did you do? Like just interrogating them. And then I would go into my grandpa's truck and I would put the sirens on, and then I would hear his radio with the as like with the police codes, and that's what got me interested in that field. And especially that's what I was like, okay, I'm gonna study UTSA criminal justice when I go into my degree, into my career, excuse me. I would want to be more informed because I want to help the people, and I know they want to be with someone that is knowledgeable in the field and has the information that they're asking for. Because I mean, I would want that.
Mhm.
And my mom personally, she's always told me, no, you have to know everything because I don't want you looking dumb when someone asks you. So that inspired me and my grandpa. So hopefully, God willing, he is comes to see me graduate in September. With this whole virus slows down, I want him to come and see me because he's the reason why I pursued into the law enforcement field.
That's awesome. Wow, that's such an inspiring story. Like to have someone in your family kind of just rub off the right way onto you, right? Especially being your grandfather, like that's just probably one of the, best things to have. And the best person to ask for help, right? Grandparents are always the best. But that's awesome. I love that little inspiration story and why you want to pursue what you pursue. So awesome to you. Keep on doing your goals, girl. uh, okay, so we talked about your inspiration. But you being a female going into being a police officer, into a detective, into a FBI agent, all of these things are very male centered. So being that it is very male centered, how is it going, how do you feel going into this field being a female, and do you feel like you're gonna be treated unequal, or how are things even in the academy right now being a female?
Yeah, so that question that everyone has asked me that too. How being a female, for example, our class right now it's 61 people in our cadet class, and for females it's 14 of us. So it's a pretty good amount of females and the rest are males, but so far we have not received any discrimination because we're women. We all get yelled at too. We have to do push-ups, sit-ups, running courtyards, all those things. They don't tell you, okay, just because you're a girl, you're gonna just like, no, they have to force us because they say you chose this field, which is male oriented, and we all know that. So once I'm in there, I have not seen so far any this discrimination because we're women, and if we do, then we'll definitely speak up because we're in that field for a reason. We can do the men's too. So thank God I have not experienced that, but the day I do, I will definitely speak up for all the women in there because we can do the same job, and because we're here for a reason.
Yeah, definitely. And how is all that physical training? Is it a lot of physical training?
Yeah, so if I can, I'll just tell you real quick what a day looks like. So, for example, it's my first week, so we have to be there before 6:45 in the morning. So I wake up at 4:20, and I wake up at 4:20 in the morning. I go to sleep like around 11, so I'm still sleepy. And then I wake up. I'm out of the door by 6:15. I get there at 6:45. I put my stuff down in a room. I go to my PT locker room in the gym. I drop PT stuff. I go back. Once the officers speak to us, we are let out at 8:45, no, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we have to go running to the gym to change in 8 minutes into our physical training gear, which is sweatpants and sweatshirt. And then we work out for almost 4 hours. So today, yeah, today we were working out at 8:45 in the morning, and we finished around 12:30, which is running, sit-ups, push-ups. It was a variety of stuff. We ran almost 10 times, like a mile in the courtyard. So yeah, I'm all sore. Everyone's sore. I'm walking like a robot. I'm literally moving my legs so I can move it up. It's pretty good. And the rest of the day, we just go into our classroom and we just learn about the policing. Like we're learning about the penal code, the traffic laws, and all those fun stuff that we have to stop people for.
Wow. I don't think I could possibly go through that physical training. Like just me, like I never work out really. So that I commend you on that.
Don't give up. Don't give up. That's the key. Because they like most of like they just try to just encourage you to see who really wants to be an officer. Like I
Mhm.
mentioned, we've had people already drop from our class because they can't handle it, and they just want to see the trainers that you really want this and how hard you're willing to do it. Like I mentioned, I yelled at already on Monday, but you get in your face, but you can't let it get to you because you're gonna have people on the streets yelling at you, so you have to get ready for that.
So yeah, they definitely train you. And I know like me being a criminal justice major too, right? I'm learning about all this stuff and definitely like you kind of they train you to be how do you say it? It's kind of like the stress level too to
Yeah,
deal with that
mentality.
stress. Yeah, like because
Yeah.
like if you're getting yelled at, like for me, like if I was getting yelled at, I'd be like, who are you talking to like that, you know? And so you kind of have to switch your mentality because there's people that are out there that are like, they don't really know what they're doing in a way, right? And so they're either on something or they could just be like, mentally ill. And so you have to deal with that in a different way, right? And so like like I said, being a criminal justice major, like that is just something that is it's just crazy. Like I don't know. I don't know how I would. I don't think I don't want to be a police officer. I want to be more into like the law side. So I don't think I would. I don't think I could do it. But
No, yeah, because it's a good thing criminal justice majors. I always recommend to get a degree so you're more informed into what you're getting to. Like you said, like into law, Julianne, you're getting to this. You always have to be informed so you can know what you're talking to with the people. Like for example, I want to deal with someone that knows what they're talking about. Like for example, property crime, all those things. And if they give me someone that doesn't know, I'm gonna be like, well, I mean, what did you learn? I mean,
yeah.
always that's why you got to in my opinion. So I believe I can know more in the field. I can be more informed and help the people of San Antonio like that they can trust all of the SAPD that they'll have the right information.
No. Yes. Definitely. I truly believe in that. That somebody should know what they're doing, right, and not kind of like take it into out of context or context.
Yeah.
But talking about
Yeah.
that, taking it out of context, we've seen a lot of like the community view of police officers kind of take a turn because of, all the events such as like the Black Lives Matter movement, all of that stuff that kind of has put a really bad impression on the police department. How do you feel about that? Are you worried about how people are going to treat you, like because like you're going to be a police officer and a female? Kind of add that to it. or what are your views about stuff like that?
Yeah, so for example, for the movement, I am one of those police officers. That's why I was willing to be an SAPD, because I respect everyone's opinions. I've heard many people already me, why are you going to this field? All the negative stuff about police officers. But for me, it's always been in my heart to be a police officer. And every people, I'm always going to hear people tell me negative stuff about. I've had people message me negative things about why I'm going to this field, but it's their opinion. And I have to learn that not everyone's going to have the same opinion as me, and I respect it.
Yeah.
So I do not feel any, I feel like I'm not going to get and feel any different when I become a police officer once I graduate, God willingly,
Mhm.
because I know I'm going to be those police officers that are going to respect every citizen here in San Antonio. And like I mentioned, though, I believe I'm not going to be treated any differently because I'm here for the people. And that, like I
Mhm.
mentioned, I've already had negative things people tell me. I've had people remove me from social media,
Wow.
but it's like I said, not everyone is the same. Like everyone says, yeah, everyone's the same. No, not everyone is the same, because we all have different views, and we're here to protect the city of San Antonio.
No, definitely. And I think that's something that the community doesn't really understand, right? Even me being like, going into law and all that stuff, that could also be like people being negative, right? Like law is also very male centered, right? Like females are they're like, they're the weak ones, blah blah blah, and all of that stuff. So I feel you on that. I've heard a lot of people tell me negative things. And so it's just just kind of just ignoring that, right? And just kind of going forward. And that's exactly what you're doing. And like you said, with the movement, you're there for the people. And although there is probably, and I probably like, I know we read about this a lot in the curriculum of criminal justice, that there probably is corruption. Who knows? Who knows if SAPD has corruption, right? We won't know, but there's different not everyone's the same. And I think that's what the community needs to hear. Not everyone's the same. And I mean, because there are those bad apples, like Mead has always told us, Professor Mead, there are those bad apples. They're, it just happens, and we can't catch them all. Like I know y'all go through this like very like the mental training too. I don't
Yeah.
know what it's called, like to see if you have like stress or something.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, it's almost like a psychological, for
Yeah.
example, because well, one of the training when they yell in your face, they try, like I mentioned, they try to get to you. So people like because the people in the streets are gonna come up to you and yell and see how you are with them. If you're gonna lash out, they're gonna kick you out, because they told us on day one, if we see you yelling back at us, then we know you're not the correct police officer. Because if you have an attitude with us, what you're gonna have with the people, and no one's gonna be there supervising you. So once we see someone like that, they're the ones who in charge with them, have a meeting with them, and see, do you really want this career? Because we can't have negative people here, people lashing out at someone that's just trying to get their help from the police, because we're here to serve them. And it's like you mentioned, Professor Me always emphasized community policing. So that's one of the keys that we've been talking, because having the trust with the community definitely helps us, so they can see that we're there for them, being help, like having them help us, and then us helping them with programs, so we can engage with them and know that we are here for them. And like I mentioned, like you said, Juliana, there are bad apples, there are good apples, but the bad apples always rise up more than the good apples.
Yes, definitely. Like it, yeah. And I think when it just only takes that one bad apple to make everyone think like, oh, everyone's bad. Like all the police officers are bad. And I think that's what the Black Lives Matter movement came about, is because of George Floyd. And it just took that one police officer to
Yeah.
kind of give that reputation to all police officers, and not only in their city, but the whole country. Yeah, the whole country. Like it was just like everywhere. Everybody was like rioting and doing all these things. And so it's a we can go into more detail on this, and we're not going to, like, it's a whole conversation.
We'll be till for hours.
But yeah, no, definitely. Now I'm glad you're going into this field with a perspective and a mindset that I'm gonna be there for the people. And
Mhm.
that's exactly what kind of police officers we need in Bexar County, San Antonio, wherever we just need those police officers. So I'm glad that you're gonna be a part of that.
Mhm.
But definitely, is there anything else that that I didn't cover about SAPD that you would like to tell any of our students out there? Any stories? Do you have any stories of anything yet, except being yelled at, Cindy?
Well, it's more military style too, and I'll definitely, if anyone it's part of ACE, and it's still I graduated in 2020, but like I told Julianne, I'm always here for ACE because it definitely helped me so much in my career at UTSA, and I'll emphasize more on that later. But yes, if anyone needs any help, Julianne will be anyone in the TRC staff can give you my email or phone number. Wait, not the phone number. No, I'll give them the phone number. Give them the phone number. I definitely help you with the CPD application process and how it goes, because that process is 6 months. So yeah, I have to go through background checks, polygraph, medical, a physical training obstacle course. Then you have to meet with a detective that does your background check, which takes almost a month, and the medical exam. So with all those, because they don't have anyone, they want to hire the best and who's going to be here for the people. And the academy, yes, it's academics too. So if you're interested in being in the SAPD Academy, I would say just definitely shoot me an email to one of the TRC staff to send you it. And I could definitely help you with all those things, because it's not as scary as the thing. If you have the passion for it, it's not going to be anything bad, because they yell in my face. But if you have the passion and determination, you're not going to let it get to you.
No, definitely. And thank you for that, Cynthia.
Yeah.
And before we, convene this interview, um, do you have any advice, just to the current A students, to the current students? This is for all UTSA students, not just for A students. And also, if you would just share a little of your experience and how it helped you get to where you are now.
Yeah, definitely. So in the ACE program, I graduated from Breckenridge High School in 2016. Go Eagles! Go Eagles, little psych. And then I went to UTSA in 2016. I was with, I really did get a lot of help, especially with Stephanie. She was my ACE mentor. I would vent to her 24/7 because I was so stressed. I was taking 5 classes my first semester, and graduating from high school, it was such a process. I always tell this to incoming ACE students. Always, when I graduated, I had that high school mindset. When I was my first class in college, I was like, they'll remind me later when the assignment is due. And then the assignment was due the next day, and I got my first F. I was like, what the heck is this? I was like, F is for failure. I was just like, F is for failure for this. And my mom too, she yelled at me, but she said, you know what? I can't intervene anymore. This is on you. So it was my first year where I really struggled a lot my freshman year, because I was that person that I go to SI classes tutoring, but I was not going the extra mile and studying until my sophomore year, which was when I would always be in the ACE building. Well, now it's closed because of COVID, but when it gets back up, there's no excuse not to be studying there.
Yeah.
I was always there studying, and like I would always see Stephanie and ask her like, "Well, I need help with this." With my ACE mentor, they definitely helped me a lot. And in the ACE program, it's definitely a really good program. You have an advantage from other UTSA students. Not that there's other programs, but ACE really did benefit me, especially with the scholarship, with the money for my books and my parking permits. But you guys did really do a good decision on being an ACE program, because you're going to get so much help. You're never going to be alone. That's the key. You're never going to be alone. I had to vent so much, and I was always there. And from freshman year, like I mentioned, I had Fs. I had a C. No, I have Fs and Cs. I was like, no, I'm almost on the way to academic probation. Like, I'm not ashamed to say I was on the way to academic probation. I started crying. And it wasn't until, how you say in Spanish, me puse las pilas. And sophomore year, I got my, how I was supposed to study. And then ACE, they always helped me with how my study guides with the ACE mentor. So I would say never be shy to ask for help, because you're going to be suffering. That's what I did. So if you don't speak up, no one's going to help you. In college, ask your professors. I mean, our money's paying them, so you're paying them for that class. So just ask them anything you want. Go to tutoring, and always go during office hours, because you never know when that little extra credit is going to come in just by knocking on that door. But yes, ACE really did help me. Don't be shy to come. We're really, guys, you're in a good scholarship program, and I highly recommend it to anyone that's coming.
Awesome. Well, yes, Cynthia, I totally agree with everything that you said. Advice, and just being a first generation student, I think we all kind of struggled at least once in our first year. And so yes, and so definitely I appreciate, you giving that advice to our students. And I hope they also have a wonderful, first year, second year, and just overall find it very helpful, as we have done in the past, right? So we are going to convene here. It was an honor talking to you, Cynthia. I thank you for taking time out of your day, your busy schedule, as you mentioned, and talking with us. I thank you, and I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors, and I hope you get to being an FBI agent, as you said.
Okay.
But thank you so much, Cynthia, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.